Data-Driven School Counseling Programs, Lauren Brown, the University of West Alabama. First, I would like to introduce what a school counseling program is. School counselors design and deliver comprehensive school counseling programs that promote student achievement. These programs are comprehensive in scope, preventative in design, and developmental in nature. The American School Counselor Association is an organization that has developed a national model for school counselors to follow for best practices, ethics, and guidelines. The ASCA National Model, a framework for school counseling programs, outlines the components of a comprehensive school counseling program. The national model brings school counselors together with one vision and one voice, which creates unity and focuses towards improving school achievement. The ASCA states that all school counselors should know how to research and evaluate. It also has guidelines that explain how the use of data is important to use while creating an action plan and outlining how data will be used to obtain the desired result. The definition of a data-driven school counseling plan includes three basic areas. The first is preventative in design. School counselors shall provide preventative and developmental school counseling to students in order to prepare them for their school responsibilities and their social and physical development. Second, they should be comprehensive in scope. This focuses on academic, career, personal, and social development of all students. And last, the program should be developmental in nature. It should meet the needs of all students and their particular developmental level. A comprehensive school counseling program is data-driven. The use of data to affect change within the school system is integral to ensuring student success. School counselors should be proficient in the collection, analysis, and interpretation of data. School counselors monitor student progress through collection of various types of data. Processed data offers evidence only that an event or activity occurred. For an example, school counselors may present the number of students seen individually, in groups, or in classrooms. Perception data is gathered from needs assessments or surveys and report opinions at the time of data collection. Results data answers the question of so what and provides evidence that a student competency is not just mastered but has affected course taking patterns, graduation rates, knowledge attainment, attendance, behavior, and academic achievement. And lastly, school improvement data. This presents the picture of current status of student needs, accomplishments, and progress. When the school counseling program impacts school improvement data, effectiveness is self-evident, and these intentional practices lead to higher levels of student success. So why should data-driven school counseling plans be created? School counseling programs should be created in order to meet the needs of identified students or the school's primary groups of stakeholders. This includes students, parents, and faculty. Variables can be used to help determine what the program can be geared towards. Some examples of these variables include number of disciplinary referrals, year-to-year change in attendance rate of students, number of teacher-counselor consultations during the school year, or year-to-year change in the number of student pregnancies and birth. In the process of evaluating an educational program such as school counseling activities, there are 7 basic steps. The first is to identify the stakeholders, then the goal settings for the evaluation. Next comes the establishment of the evaluation objectives, and then the development of a management plan to achieve those goals. The next step includes collection and analysis of appropriate data and using the analysis to write a final report. The final step is the dissemination of the result of the evaluation. So why is data important to consider when creating a program? Here's a short video clip stating the importance of collecting and using data.
As parents, educators, policymakers, society, we all want our children to be prepared for the future. But when faced with overwhelming statistics, we wonder how it is possible. If we break that overwhelming statistic down into manageable pieces of information and data points, we can understand how to tackle the problem. Only with data can our students navigate the increasingly global and complex maze of decisions ahead and avoid becoming part of the overwhelming statistic. We all want to answer the question, how are my kids doing? What has proven to work to get my child on track for future success? Are my students learning enough in 1 year? How much does it cost to make students college and career ready? The problem is we're using an outdated paradigm where data is inaccurate, expensive to obtain, difficult to transport, and flows in only one direction, up. In nearly every other field, they use data differently. We can visit multiple doctors in multiple places and take our data with us. Businesses strategically gather data and tailor it to their specific needs to make the best use of resources and provide the best return on their investment. We rely upon law enforcement to use data to identify issues before they become serious problems, because the stakes are high and the risks are real. To answer our questions, we need a new paradigm in education, where data is in context, reliable, timely, portable, and flows in all directions. So we can tailor data to find out exactly where we are and where to go at each turn. And we can be notified instantly if we take a wrong turn. So we can all know where we stand and that our children are on the right path. Most states now have data to answer our questions and accomplish our goal. Let's use it. Because if we're not using data to determine where our children are going, what are we using? Data is power. We can't afford not to use it.
Lewin's Action Research Model. In the 1940s, Kurt Lewin developed a model that is still used today. Watch this short video clip to learn more about action research.
Kurt Lewin is recognised as the person who first coined the phrase action research. That was back in the 1940s, and Lewin believed that it is only in actually changing social situations that we begin to understand them. Later in the 70s in the UK, Lawrence Stenhouse set up the Action Research Network and believed that teachers should be researching their own practice. Action research is a form of inquiry in which practitioners reflect systematically on their practice in order to bring about improvement and to contribute to new knowledge. Action research is practitioner-based, but the essential features are the cyclical stages of acting, observing, reflecting, revising, and then going through the next cycle again. It's about practitioners carrying out research on their own practice rather than other people carrying out research on their practice. So it's an insider form of research as opposed to outsider research. And action research is a form of personal inquiry, but it's also collaborative in that you're working with various people, be it your students, critical friends, and other stakeholders in the research. The focus is about change. You're hoping as you're going through the action research process that there will be some change and improvement, and you're exploring your own professional values and looking at the things that drive you to do the job that you actually do.
As As you can see from the video, he believed that research should be focused on solving real-world problems and not employed as a method to answer simple research questions. The concept of conducting action research, a school-based, highly pragmatic approach to problem solving, was the original idea of Kurt Lewin. Lewin's model has applied to school-based action research, including the following steps. Step 1, identification of the potential problem needing a resolution. Step 2, gather data. 3, analyze and interpret the data. 4, formulate an action plan. 5, carrying out the actual ideas of the action plan. 6, collecting and analyzing outcome data key to the action plan. And lastly, if needed, amending what was done and developing a new action plan. As we discussed earlier, prevention is an important step in school counseling programs. Other prevention programs that also include the use of data as a driving force include teen suicide prevention, teen pregnancy, truancy, bullying in schools, or through social media. So why should programs like these be created? This short clip gives you an insight of what is happening to young adults. Using the steps in the systematic evaluation explained previously, or Lewin's modified action research model can help put prevention programs into place. Looking at data-driven school counseling programs, there are some other questions that we should address. First is, how will school counseling address these issues as children continue to evolve? As society changes, students are faced with not only the same basic issues as in years past, but how they have to deal with social media, cyberbullying, increased suicide rate, and troubled economic issues. School counselors will have to continue to evolve as well. They must stay abreast of current trends and data and work closely with stakeholders to develop strategies to best meet the needs of the students they serve. How can school counselors benefit from this information? School counselors can benefit from the information shared by using how data should drive their school counseling by understanding how data should drive their school counseling programs. By implementing the 7 steps to the systematic evaluation, counselors can be certain that they are identifying key factors and addressing critical areas in order to facilitate an effective counseling program. What ethical and legal standards should be addressed when considering this issue? School counseling programs must follow ASCA ethical and legal guidelines to ensure that students' information is kept confidential and their rights are protected. Counselors have a responsibility to their students to keep all evaluations and assessment scores as well as other student records confidential. All legal and ethical standards can be reviewed at the following website. And lastly, how does this impact academic achievement of students and the general mission of the school? By creating a data-driven school counseling plan, counselors can zero in on at-risk students. Factors such as grades, behavior, socioeconomic status, and peer interactions can be taken into account in order to develop programs to address students who are struggling in one or more of these areas. This data-driven approach will be an integral part of any school's overall improvement plan. Thank you so much for listening to my video presentation over data-driven school counseling programs. I hope you enjoyed it.